Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fascinating excerpts from a book, Crucibles of Leadership by Julian Kelly.
Right. Think of it less like a dry textbook and more like a deep narrative case study.
Exactly. It gives you this, almost a shortcut to understanding what really happens when a successful entrepreneur hits major roadblocks. Not just market stuff, but really personal challenges too.
Yeah, and our mission here is to unpack the journey of the main character, Jay.
Yeah.
We want to pull out those key lessons about leadership, definitely resilience, and, purpose.
All the things that get forged when basically everything you've poured your life into is suddenly hanging by a thread. It kicks off pretty intensely. Jay is in his San Francisco penthouse looking out over the city, but he's got this gut feeling, right? That everything's about to shift.
Yeah, the ground feels unsteady. He's staring down these massive threats all at once. There's a competitor's acquisition offer looming.
Which is huge in itself.
Huge. Plus, he senses betrayal within his own team. And on top of that, there's a serious legal battle brewing. Talk about pressure.
Seriously. So that really sets the scene. And to figure out how he handles all that, we need to understand where he comes from, his foundations.
Absolutely. Where does that grit originate? The book actually takes us back, way back to his childhood.
And it's this really interesting mix of influences, isn't it? His dad was a small-town mechanic.
Right. So you get that real hands-on, practical understanding of hard work, the satisfaction of building something, fixing something tangible, that diligence.
Then you pair that with his mom, who was a school teacher.
She brought the, let's say, intellectual curiosity. That passion for learning, for questioning things, digging for the truth.
It feels like that combination, the practical know-how and the questioning mind, was just fundamental for him, sort of coded into his DNA from the start.
You can see how that would spark something entrepreneurial later on. The book mentions him starting a small tech venture in college.
Yeah, not the huge success Solar Solutions became, obviously, but it sounds like that was where he learned the ropes.
Oh, absolutely. Cutting his teeth, figuring out the mechanics of, actually building a business. And it seems like that's where his core philosophy started to take shape.
Innovation with a purpose.
Exactly. This idea that tech shouldn't just be about the bottom line. It should serve people. Companies should actually contribute positively.
And that became the cornerstone for Solar Solutions.
So he builds this company. It's successful, thriving even. But the source tells us, despite all that achievement, Jay finds himself at this crossroads. He's feeling deeply uneasy.
The rapid growth created its own problems.
For sure. Navigating complex regulations, facing really fierce competition, and dealing with significant internal pressures, too. People dynamics.
He feels stretched thin, like he needs to tap into those early lessons again.
Yeah, like drawing on his father's perseverance, refusing to give up on a stubborn engine. He needs that kind of grit now.
And this is where it gets really interesting, personally, I thought. The narrative weaves in this deeply personal challenge alongside the business stuff.
Right. His strained relationship with his son, Tyler.
They drifted, taken different paths. Jay clearly struggled with it.
And that feels like a real crucible moment, doesn't it? The professional and the personal colliding.
Yeah.
Tyler actually reaches out. He wants to talk about the future.
And in that conversation, you suddenly see Tyler's own drive, his own ideas. He's been researching integrating advanced AI into Solar Solutions.
Yeah, he sees the potential, optimizing operations, maybe creating totally new products, opening new markets, using AI in ways Jay hadn't considered.
So it's like this potential bridge forms. Father and son might reconnect over this shared kind of forward-looking vision for the company, tech driving the reunion almost.
It's a powerful idea. But the book makes it clear, pursuing this AI direction isn't just flipping a switch. It demands huge changes internally.
Painful changes, potentially. Restructuring, rethinking the leadership team.
Exactly. Which means having some incredibly difficult conversations. The book details one with Susan, the COO.
Ah, right. She represents the established way, doesn't she? Steady growth, predictable, not really on board with this disruptive AI leap.
Precisely. And that highlights a core leadership challenge, right? How do you push through a necessary strategic change when your own team, even trusted people, resist?
It forces Jay to make some really tough calls. People have to go.
Departures happen. But it also creates this urgent need to reshape the team, bring in new blood, specifically expertise in AI, machine learning, data science.
So they start looking beyond the usual places, universities, startups, looking for partners.
And they don't just talk about it. They launch a pilot project. using AI for, I think it was supply chain management.
Yeah, that's right. And the book says it was a big success, showed real results, cost savings, better efficiency.
Which confirms they're on the right track.
Yeah.
The disruption, the difficult choices, they were starting to pay off. AI optimizing routes, predicting demand.
Right.
Real tangible benefits.
Okay, so the business is pivoting, this exciting new direction with Tyler is unfolding. But the source says Jay still feels something's off. This underlying unease hasn't gone away.
Yeah. Despite the external wins, something's still missing for him. And this feels really relatable for a lot of successful founders, I think. You reach a certain point, and what now?
And then he has this meeting with a VC, David Langston, and Langston basically points it out.
Right. He suggests maybe it's not just business stress. Maybe it's a deeper question. A purpose question.
Which sends Jay on this reflective journey. The book talks about him revisiting old Han's childhood home first office.
Trying to reconnect with something fundamental. And he does. He rediscovers that core driver. It wasn't just about building a successful company.
It was about creating something that mattered, wasn't it? Having a lasting impact.
Exactly. Using his platform for good, uplifting others, driving real change.
And this rediscovered purpose, it becomes like a new North Star for the company. He shares it with his senior team, including Layla, who seems like a key ally.
And they agree. Let's realign everything around this. Let's be intentional about our impact beyond just, shareholder value.
Which leads directly to this ambitious new venture, launching a global collaboration network focused on education, entrepreneurship, innovation.
It's a direct manifestation of that purpose, using his resources and reach for something bigger.
And at the network's first big conference, Jay has these conversations. The book mentions Ethan and later Amina, an entrepreneur from Kenya. And he has this major realization.
It hits him. The real value here isn't just the tech platform or the funding connections.
It's the people.
It's the human element. Connection, collaboration, bridging, divides, language, culture, access to opportunities, building trust.
Amina's story really brings it home, apparently, highlighting the massive barriers entrepreneurs face in places without the same resources or networks.
And how just connecting them, providing that support system can be absolutely game-changing. It shifts the focus.
From just building a tool to actually cultivating a community, fostering trust, creating real interactions, mentorship programs, events. The book mentions a chat with a young entrepreneur, Carlos.
Deepening those human connections becomes the priority. And then later, Ethan calls with another idea.
Right. Expand the network even further into healthcare, education, sustainability.
Driving cross-disciplinary collaboration. Using this human-centered network to tackle really big global problems. Jay gets excited by that potential for even greater impact.
Okay, so while all this positive momentum is building the AI pivot, the purpose-driven network, the book, reminds us those initial threats haven't vanished. In fact, they're escalating.
Yeah, storm clouds are gathering again. Power struggles intensify inside Solar Solutions, specifically around Vanessa.
The board brought in. She's positioned as the younger, maybe more ruthless potential successor.
Right. Jay feels his leadership is being actively undermined. Maybe he's grappling with his age, his legacy. But the book says, with guidance from someone named Sarah, he decides to fight back. Remind everyone what he built.
Another internal crucible, really, defending his place.
And right alongside that, this massive acquisition offer lands. Huge potential upside, double the revenue.
But massive risks, too.
Definitely. He talks it through with his team, Ethan, Layla, or mentioned. He decides to proceed cautiously, trusting his gut, but knowing the stakes are incredibly high.
And then, bang, that anonymous message.
Chilling. Be careful, Jay. Not everyone is who they seem.
It plants that seed of doubt, doesn't it? Makes him look inward, suspect his own people.
The whole atmosphere shifts. Jay starts noticing weird things. Ethan working late, acting secretive. Layla seems distracted, reserved, not themselves.
This unease drives him to dig into the financials himself. He bypasses the usual channels.
And he finds it. Embezzlement, a pattern of small hidden transfers, offshore accounts.
The trail leads back to someone close. Very close.
So at this crucial board meeting, he lays it all out. The discrepancies, the evidence from an independent analyst he hired.
And then he drops the name linked to the accounts.
Ethan?
Wow, and Ethan's reaction.
Explosive. Shock, then denial. He claims it's a setup. He hints at bigger forces, calls Jay a pawn in a much bigger game. Then he storms out.
Leaving chaos behind. The board's alarmed, obviously. But Jay, he's now fixated on Ethan's warning. this isn't just Ethan.
Right, something bigger is at play. He insists on investigating these deeper forces himself. He needs to know who's really behind this.
And his investigation leads him down this murky path. Shell corporations, hidden connections, the complex ways money gets hidden.
Mm-hmm. And it leads him to a name. Someone from his past. Marcus Stone.
An early ally, even a mentor figure, but someone whose ambition clashed hard with Jay's ethics years ago.
Jay realizes he's the puppet master. Marcus has been orchestrating the chaos, the betrayal from behind the scenes.
So Jay decides he has to confront him, face to face.
And that confrontation, the book describes it as incredibly tense. Marcus admits everything. He basically says Jay got soft, prioritizing principles over power.
And he gives Jay an ultimatum, right? Join me, embrace this ruthless way of doing business, or I'll destroy you.
Stark choice. But Jay refuses. This is where all those crucibles lead. He chooses his integrity. He won't sell out.
And in doing so, he makes a truly dangerous enemy. Marcus threatens to tear down his entire empire, erase his legacy.
The threat isn't abstract anymore. As Jay drives away, another message comes in. You've chosen the wrong path. The game has only just begun.
And then he sees it, the black SUV tailing him.
Yeah, it's immediate. This isn't just business anymore. He's literally fighting for his life as the story arc in these excerpts concludes.
Wow. So, looking back at Jay's whole journey here, what are the big takeaways? We've seen him go through so much.
It's quite the ride. From those family values shaping him, to the pressures of scaling a huge company, that big pivot towards purpose, the global network, and then bam, betrayal and this enemy from the past.
It really is a case study in entrepreneurial resilience, isn't it? And that complex dance between business growth and your own personal values.
Absolutely. It shows that building something big isn't just about market strategy or financials. It's about the internal battles, the compromises you face, the choices you make under pressure.
We saw that tension, didn't we? Between holding on to control and needing to adapt, the vital role of trust, and how devastating it is when broken.
Mm-hmm. And that constant pull between ambition and ethics. Jay could have taken easier routes, compromised, maybe joined Marcus, but he didn't.
Thinking about it, Jay's journey in Crucibles of Leadership really drives home that the toughest challenges don't just test you, they reveal you. They show you who you really are.
He thought he was just building a company, but he was actually forging his own identity in those fires of adversity, refining what he truly stood for.
Which leads to a pretty powerful question for you listening right now. If everything you built, your business, your project, maybe even something deeply personal, suddenly came under intense threat.
Yeah, from competitors, maybe from people you trusted, or just completely unforeseen forces, what core values would you absolutely refuse to compromise on? How would you fight to stay true to yourself when the stakes get higher and maybe darker than you ever expected?